Have you ever found yourself apologizing for something you strictly did not do just to stop an argument? Or perhaps you have left a conversation feeling completely confused, exhausted, and questioning your own memory of events. You know something is wrong. You feel it in your gut. It is that heavy, sinking sensation that you are constantly walking on eggshells, monitoring every word you speak and every move you make to avoid a conflict that seems to appear out of thin air. You start to wonder if maybe you are the problem. Maybe you are too sensitive. Maybe you are imagining things. If this internal dialogue sounds familiar to you, I need you to listen very closely. You are not going crazy. You are likely being psychologically dismantled by a manipulator. This is not just about someone being mean or difficult. This is about a calculated erosion of your reality. Psychologists call it the boiling frog effect. If you drop a frog into boiling water, it jumps out immediately. But if you put it in tepid water and slowly turn up the heat, the frog will not notice the danger until it is cooked to death. Manipulation works exactly the same way. It starts with small boundary violations, tiny comments, and subtle shifts in blame that seem insignificant at the time. But over weeks, months, or years, the temperature rises. Your sense of self-worth evaporates. Your trust in your own perception dissolves. And before you know it, you are trapped in a psychological prison where the door is locked from the inside. Today, we are going to turn off the heat. We are going to look at the 7 definitive signs that someone is manipulating you based on behavioral psychology and dark triad personality traits. We will dissect the mechanics of gaslighting, the cruelty of the silent treatment, and the trap of the victim complex. But be warned, the signs we will discuss today are often disguised as love, concern, or just joking. They are designed to trigger your empathy and use your own kindness against you. By the end of this video, you will not only be able to spot these tactics in real time, but you will also understand the neuroscience behind why you stayed and how to finally break the cycle. The 7th sign, in particular, is the most dangerous because it is the one that convinces you that you are the abuser. Let's start the diagnosis. Let's begin with the first sign. It is often the most confusing because it feels like the opposite of manipulation. It is called love bombing. In the beginning, this person did not just like you. They were obsessed with you. They showered you with compliments, excessive attention, and gifts. They told you that you were the only person who truly understood them. They mirrored your interests, your values, and your dreams. It felt like finding a soulmate. But psychologically, this is not intimacy. This is data mining. They were studying you to learn your vulnerabilities and to lower your defenses. They created an idealized version of themselves to hook you on a dopamine high. You become addicted to their validation. And once they know you are hooked, once they know you rely on them for your sense of self-worth, the validation stops. Abruptly. This leaves you chasing that initial high, constantly trying to get back to the way things were in the beginning. You start working harder to please them, thinking if you are just perfect enough, the nice version of them will return. But that version never existed. It was a costume. Now, imagine the dynamic shifts. You notice something is inconsistent. You bring it up. This leads us to the second sign, the most famous and destructive tool in the manipulator's kit. Gaslighting. This is not just lying. Lying is about hiding a specific truth. Gaslighting is about dismantling your ability to discern truth at all. When you confront them with a fact, they do not just deny it. They attack your memory. They say things like, "That never happened," or "You are imagining things," or "You are crazy." You always twist my words. They say it with such conviction that you start to doubt your own eyes and ears. Psychologically, this forces you to rely on their version of reality instead of your own. You stop trusting your gut instinct. You start keeping evidence, screenshots, or recordings just to prove to yourself that you are not insane. If you find yourself needing to record conversations just to confirm what was said, you are deep in the grip of gaslighting. But here is where it gets darker. What happens when you try to hold your ground? That brings us to sign number 3, the weaponized silence. In a healthy relationship, people might take a cooling off period to process emotions, but a manipulator uses silence as a punishment. When you voice a concern or set a boundary, they simply stop acknowledging your existence. They walk past you like you are a ghost. They do not answer your texts. They withhold affection and communication completely. This triggers the anterior cingulate cortex in your brain, the same area that registers physical pain. Being ignored by someone you care about literally hurts. It sends your brain into a panic state called abandonment meltdowns. You become desperate to end the silence. You find yourself apologizing for things you did not do just to get them to speak to you again. You learn that speaking up equals pain, so you stop speaking up. You learn to be quiet to stay safe. And when they finally do speak, it is rarely to apologize. It is to flip the script. This is sign number 4, the victim card. This technique is often referred to by the acronym DARVO: deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. Let's say you catch them in a lie. Instead of admitting it, they will suddenly become the injured party. They might say, "I cannot believe you are accusing me after everything I have done for you. You are so ungrateful. You are hurting my feelings." Suddenly, the conversation is no longer about their lie. It is about your meanness for pointing it out. You started the conversation seeking an apology, and you end the conversation giving one. They exploit your empathy. They know you are a kind person who hates to see others in pain, so they perform pain to escape accountability. They use your own conscience against you. But maybe you are strong. Maybe you do not fall for the victim act. So they change the game entirely. Sign number 5 is moving the goalposts. This is the art of impossible standards. No matter what you do, it is never enough. If you clean the house, they ask why you did not cook dinner. If you cook dinner, they ask why it is too salty. If you fix the salt, they say they wanted something else. The rules of how to please them are constantly changing. This creates a state of chronic anxiety. You are always running, always trying to hit a target that is moving. This is known as intermittent reinforcement. Occasionally, very rarely, they will let you succeed. They will give you a crumb of praise. That random reward keeps you gambling, keeps you trying, hoping that next time you will finally get it right. But the game is rigged. The objective is not for you to succeed. The objective is to keep you exhausted. Now, look at your social circle. Are you still close with your old friends? Your family? Or have they slowly drifted away? Sign number 6 is isolation. A manipulator knows that your friends and family are your reality check. If you tell your best friend what is happening, they might say, "That is not normal." So, the manipulator must cut those ties. They do not usually forbid you from seeing people. That is too obvious. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt. They say, "Your mother is so controlling," or "Your friends do not actually like you." They talk behind your back. They might act moody or start a fight every time you have plans to go out, creating a Pavlovian response where you associate seeing friends with stress. Eventually, it is just easier to stay home. Step by step, your world shrinks until the manipulator is the only person in it. When you have no one else to turn to, you have no one to validate your reality but them. But there is one final sign, the most dangerous one, the one that makes you believe you are the monster. We are going to discuss this in the final section, and it changes everything you think you know about your own behavior. This brings us to the 7th and final sign. It is the most devastating because it uses your own biology against you. It is called Projective Identification, but you might know it as Reactive Abuse. Have you ever been pushed so far, poked so many times, and ignored for so long that you finally snapped? You yelled. You cried. You said things you did not mean. Maybe you even threw something. And in that exact moment, the manipulator suddenly became calm. They looked at you with wide, innocent eyes and said, "Wow, look at you. You are unstable. You need help." They might even pull out their phone to record your reaction. This is the trap. They manufacture a chaotic environment, relying on the fact that every human being has a breaking point. When you reach yours, they use your reaction as proof that you are the abuser. They project their own aggression onto you, and you identify with it because you feel guilty for yelling. You spend days apologizing for your reaction, while the original abuse that caused it is completely forgotten. You start to believe their narrative. You think, maybe I am the toxic one. Maybe I am the problem. This is the ultimate victory for a manipulator, convincing the prisoner that they built the prison themselves. But I need you to understand this clearly. A reaction to abuse is not abuse. It is a survival mechanism. It is your psyche screaming for you to defend yourself when your boundaries have been violated 1,000 times. You are not crazy. You are exhausted. You have been fighting a psychological war without realizing you were on a battlefield. So, why did they choose you? This is the most important question. Is it because you are weak? Is it because you are naive? No. Manipulators and narcissists do not target weak people. There is nothing to take from a weak person. They target people who are full of life. They target people with high empathy, high resilience, and a deep capacity for love. They chose you because you have a light that they do not possess. They are drawn to your warmth, like a moth to a flame, but because they cannot generate that warmth themselves, they seek to consume yours. Your empathy is your superpower, but right now, it is lacking a shield. You have been giving the benefit of the doubt to someone who is using it as a weapon. It is time to stop asking, why are they doing this? And start asking, why am I staying? The answer often lies in something called trauma bonding, a chemical addiction to the cycle of abuse that is harder to break than a drug addiction. Breaking this bond requires a specific set of counterintuitive strategies. You cannot just walk away. You have to surgically detach. In the next video, I am going to reveal the gray rock method and the exact neurolinguistic scripts you need to use to shut down a manipulator without triggering their rage. If you are currently in this situation, or if you know someone who is, you cannot afford to miss that breakdown. It is the difference between leaving and escaping. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss the lifeline when I throw it out. Take care of your mind. It is the only place you have to live.